And oh dear, I think my ZX Spectrum display's got a bit big. Hang on a minute, that's definitely not right. What happened there? Computers, what's going on? Right, that's better, almost. Hang on, let's get it up there. There we go. Right, it's busted already. Yay, Aussie G is here, finally able to make a live stream again. Yay! Right, that's good to see you, sir. Stephen Usher's here as well. Right, we're talking proper old 8-bit stuff today because I'm going back in time to my kind of my roots really. This is for me. This is proper retro stuff because this is my true era really. Is when I first kind of became a games player, I suppose. I love this old machine. This is of course, a Sinclair ZX Spectrum from 1982. 48K, don't you know? It just seems so ludicrously small by modern standards, but it was such a cool computer back in the day. Anyway, it's lovely to see you all. So, Wintermute, Nimduskrin, Reg W, Dr. Quest, Abu Ubu, God, names. The Londra, hello, 07 everyone. The Big Boo's here as well, Frank Weiner and Geege. I hope I'm pronouncing those even vaguely correctly. But anyway, it's lovely to have you along for company. Now, today is Saturday, of course, and it's Retro Day, and we have to play space games in this ongoing history of all things space game. And last time, it wasn't last week, was it? Or was it last week? I'm a bit quiet. Have I? Tell you what I've been doing. Let me fix that for you. Zip. There you go. Now you'll be able to hear me properly. And I've got my mic at a funny angle. Oh dear. I should have checked all that. Sorry, not very professional at all. It's because I was doing loads and loads of audiobook recording last week, and I have to optimise different settings for different things. And when I'm sitting down here, because actually the mic's quite a long way. But not that you can see it, of course, it's kind of up there. So I have to have the gain up when I'm down here. And of course, when I'm up there, I have to have the gain down. It's all very complicated. And I've got to write all these settings. But there we go. Never mind. Right. Anyway, it's working. And I have a Sinclair ZX Spectrum. This computer, I don't know. I love the basicness of it. And using that word advisedly. What a fantastic computer. I mean, who cannot possibly like this? I mean, print. Hang on, I've got to remember where the keys are. It's Shift P, isn't it? Welcome to, bit slow there, to the retro stream. 20, go to 10. Look at this programming skills. Ta-da! Now I bet nobody on a PC with a copy of C++ or some modern IDE can make it do that fast. Okay. No, that's sure somebody's mowing their lawn outside the back of my house. Oh, it's so annoying on the weekends. Let me just go and close my window at the moment because that's going to get really annoying. Right. Back in. Apologies for that. I mean, it's just so amazing. Download BBC Basic for Windows, and you could but you've got to download something. See, the beauty of the ZX Spectrum is you can just switch it on. It's there. I'm just trying to remember what the keys are. There we go. Look at that. And if I do, I should. It's supposed to be space games, but I've already been distracted by my elite programming skills in BASIC. Randomize user 1, 2, 3. What does that do? Trouble is, I haven't got the keyboard overlay in front of me, so I don't know where all the token keywords are. No idea where randomize user would be. Anyway, that's enough of that. What a computer! The beautiful thing about these computers is everything. I mean, I can change what's the border. I can make the border go black, and I can make the border go. There we go, border go red, just like that. So childish. It's clear. That's clear screen, isn't it? There we go. So let's put the border back the right colour, which is 7. There we go. Look, and it's amazing. Make it look like it's loading. Randomize user will start you somewhere in the ROM. Oh, that's right. Yes, that's you could access various parts of the memory. We should do a more technical dive into these computers, but there we go. That's right. Yes, I suppose I could do. Hang on, if I do new, there we go, and it sort of resets. Right, anyway, we're supposed to be playing some computer games. Now, cast your mind back. Those of you who were there, okay, those of you who were there, cast your minds back to the heady years of the early 1980s when all things were possible. Everything was shiny and new and exciting, and the entire future of computer history was kind of stretched out before you, one glorious sunrise after another. I must admit, back then, anything seemed like it was possible. All these computers were coming out, and there was so much variety and all sorts of things. And it's not quite the same. 1982 sounds more like the future to me. I was 9 in 1982. Yay! See, these were good years. They were good years. And games loaded on stretching sounds like 5 minutes wait, like today. Yeah. The funny thing is, we used to complain, and modern computers used to make it. People who were playing games in the 90s and the noughties used to make fun of us 8-bit players with our cassette players. Taking 5 minutes to load a game when, of course, they had floppy disks and hard disks. Whereas today, us 8-bit players can now laugh back because, okay, well, it takes us 5 minutes to load a game. Yes, we'll give you that. But it takes you 3 days to download your DLC or your patch. and patch a game. No, our games had to work off the cassette. They had to be tested. They had to be working. None of this, partially successful, not quite well implemented game that you then had to patch later on. No, you had to get it working first time, and your game lived or died on the release that was on the cassette. Halcyon days indeed. There we go. NMS spends 5 minutes loading on my PC. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it sits there doing its sparkling through space. But there we go. Never mind. And we could hack the games. Yes, poke. What was that? Was that I can still remember. 5535, 0. No idea what that does. And I think actually the memory. Can anyone remember where's the memory address? Because was it something like 1700 upwards? Because I think if I do that with a 7 or something, look, I can draw directly on the screen just by poking the memory. So there we go. And then I can put a different thing in that position, and then I get some. How cool is that? Actually, the memory of the spectrum is totally addressable. So hang on. If I poke 17002 with I don't know 2234. It's just I can't remember what the codes are. Anyway, just shows you how primitive this stuff is. Peek and poke. Yeah. Flavor text response on the Hobbit game. Drink wine. You drink some wine. Do that. You drink some wine. Yeah, I remember that. That was good, wasn't it? Is this Morse code? No. So what's actually happening here is the spectrum has. If I do, I think it's there we go. 65535. That clears all the memory in the spectrum. Okay. So from 0, 65535 is effectively the entire width of all the spectrum's memory. And the bottom part of that is ROM, i.e. where effectively the operating system is. There's various different sections above that, but then there's a key section which I was just accessing there with the poke command, which is actually the screen. And then beyond that, there's kind of empty memory for you to stick your program in, and everything was accessible. So I can switch things on and off directly. But anyway, that's reminiscing about programming code. Let's go play some games because that's important stuff. Now, back in 1982. Okay, so the last time we were on, we saw all of the the space games in the arcades, the early arcade, late 70s, early 80s. Now, by 1981, 1982. Home computers had started to appear in people's homes. And I think I've mentioned before that back in the late 70s, when I said to my friends at school, I've got a computer at home, they basically said, no, you haven't, you're lying. Well, nobody's got a computer at home. But I genuinely did. But then by sort of 1981, 1982, virtually everybody had one. There was a massive, certainly in the UK, and I'm speaking only about the UK primarily, because I think the States was probably a little bit ahead of this. But in the UK, suddenly, in the early 80s, the computer, the home computer, the Spectrums, the Commodore 64, the BBCs, everything, was the must-have thing that everyone had to have. It's kind of like the iPhone, scenario back in 2008, 2007. Everyone had to have one of them. And everyone was trying to figure out what to do with these things because it wasn't immediately obvious why anybody needed a home computer. It was clearly the wave of the future, but nobody really knew what to use them for. Because it's like you can do, you can use it to write down recipes, like in a recipe book. You can do the home accounts on it, like you already do. Your kids will be able to do their homework on it. That was a really big one that I remember trying to sell to my parents. Yeah, it'll help me with my homework. How? Says my dad. How exactly? It's really. Well, it will. I need a computer, Dad. Right? Yeah. But I did get one eventually, so. And I am so glad I did, because this very, very humble machine gave me some gaming moments of utter pure joy for many, many, many years, and I hold it. It is my favourite computer ever, and it always will be. With my homework. There's actually a wonderful thing. I can't probably play it for copyright reasons, but you can find it on YouTube, which is. We bought it to help with your homework. It's a song called Hey Hey 16K. So look up Hey Hey 16K. I'll just type that in the chat. There you go. Oh, no, that's not the chat. That's the Spectrum. Here you go. Look up this. There, Hey Hey 16K, and you will enjoy. But oddly enough, it never helped me with my homework at all. Okay, but it did provide me with the basics of both a career in IT for many, many years, and obviously it kind of leads into this. And now I've got all this sort of notcho reminiscence for these days, which of course is something that we can talk about today. So very, very cool era. I did some homework on my Spectrum and printed it out on a thermal printer. There you go, well done. I did learn a lot from the Spectrum. I learned about machine code, and I learned about basic, and I learned about basic, programming and all that sort of thing. So, it did teach me a lot of stuff. Nothing that was on the curriculum at school, I hasten to add, because as far as my school was concerned in the 80s, computers hadn't yet been invented. They were very, very backward. They didn't actually have computers in the school until after I left, which was in 1988. So there we go. All sorts of fun games. But anyway, the home computer revolution sort of began in the early 80s, and then everybody had one. And of course, we were supposed to be using these things for learning programming and learning stuff, and figuring out graphics, and doing the household accounts and all that sort of stuff. But of course, what happened in reality was everyone started playing games. Now, the Spectrum, oddly enough, really wasn't a games computer at all in the slightest. It didn't have, like many of the other computers do. I think there might be Space T. Coming in.
I'm going to come in from the other side.
That's going to confuse everybody. The Space T's got to come in from there, otherwise it looks like it's off screen. Thank you. Space T, very important. So the Spectrum wasn't a games computer. It had no sprite hardware. Somebody's already mentioned that in the chat, like the Commodore 64 did. It didn't have any sound capabilities other than that it can beep, which I think is. Let's see if I can find. I can beep. This is not that. Beep. Where's beep? Can anyone remember? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my Spectrum. Okay. So here it is in all its glory, with its micro drive still intact. Okay, this is what it actually looked like. You can see it's not a very big computer. No joystick port, no proper graphics stuff, and all it could do. Right, I've just found where's beep. Oh, there it is. It's okay. So I've got to figure out how to do symbol shift Z. Beep. There we go. Right. Okay. So hang on a minute. Beep tone duration. So I think 0, 1. That should give us a. Didn't do anything. Maybe have I got the sound turned up? I thought I did. Let's try that again. Maybe it's the other way around. 1, 0. There you go. And so if you do beep 5, 0, that's how long it is and the tone, right? Okay, so 5, it's duration. It's the other way around, Frank Minor. It's duration then tone. So if I do 1, 10, no 12. Let's do an octave. Ta-da! And that is all the Spectrum can do. All right, that is it. There's nothing else. Now let me demonstrate a few other great tune. Yeah, not quite up to my normal MIDI skills, I have to say, but you know, if we I'm just going to show you some more programming skills here. But we will. I promise we will get to the space games. But there's a few things you need to know about the Spectrum. For n equals, let's get this right. 2. No, for n equals 0. Where's the 2 button? 2 is F. Hang on, how do I get the 2? Shift 2. There we go. Let's do 11. 20. Then we'll do beep. Proper skills here. Okay, right, there we go. What do we say? 1, and this is going to replace the note with N. Okay, so you can kind of figure out where this is going. And then I need to do 30 next N. Now Stephen Usher will probably pop in a moment and tell me my programming skills are wrong. I'm doing this very, very badly, but it'll work. Okay, promise it. Right, now we're going to run this program. All right, here we go. I can tell you're impressed. Ta-da! Right, okay, so that is pretty much, and I think if I change that to beep 0.1, can it do that? I don't know. There you go. I'm absurdly pleased with that bit of programming. Anyway, so that is literally the sound of the Spectrum. That's all it can do. Okay, that is literally all it can do. Now the other thing, let's just start again very quickly because I need to demonstrate something else that's important. Okay, there's another command here. So I'm going to just do another little program. For n equals 0 to, I don't know, let's say 100. And then there's a step function. Where's the step? I haven't done this for so many years, I can't remember where everything is. Is there a step? Where is it? I'm sure there's a step function. Sure I use this. Where is it? Maybe there isn't. Is that step? Maybe that's a step over there. No, that's read. Step? Stop. No. Step. There it is. D. Right. Okay. Step 10. Okay, so that's going to do the same thing, 0 to 100, but it does that count as a MIDI composition? Yeah. So. Right. Okay. So I'm going to do this in steps. Now, what I need to do is there's a command called circle. Okay. Which is on the H key. No. Must be no. That's screw. There we are. Circle. Now I can't remember the syntax for this. Let's. I think it's got to be something like across and then diameter. So let's try about that. I think that's right. Let's just try this. Okay. Right. It's not that should. There we are. Perfect. Oh, gets it right first time. Look at that. Okay. That's probably going to jump off the screen. Yeah, okay, so B integer out of range basically means I busted it. Yep, I think Rex 9079 was right. Okay, so that's good. Right, okay, so I don't need to go quite so big, so let's just... Now there is a way of... There we go, I can go into edit mode. That's right. So let's... How do I actually edit the... I'm trying to remember how this works. So that's graphics mode. There we go. Then I can scroll across. So yeah, there was a, no, not like that. 4, and then there we go. So I need to probably go up to about 80, I think. Okay, right. So run again. That should just make some concentric circles. Okay, so this is important. This is important. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color of the ink randomly. Now this is important. Okay, so I'm going to add an extra command in. Which is ink. Where's ink? There it is. Ink. I suppose it's random. Where's the random command? There it is, up there. No, that's merge. No. Random is Shift T. That one. Random. Random 7. No, it's not going to be. It's not going to be 255. We've only got 7 colours. Is it just 7? Will that do? No, must be brackets. And the brackets aren't the same as a modern computer. So there we go. No, what's the syntax? Can anyone remember the syntax? I thought it was 7. Is it just random times? How do I get times on a spectrum? Most of the keyboard is worn off. There it is, that's Shift B for some reason. 7. Perfect. Okay, now what will happen here is it will choose a random colour for every circle. Okay. Now most of the time, okay, that seems to work mostly okay, right? But notice there's a few odd little things that happen. Why is there a bit of red in that circle there? And why is there a tiny little bit of light blue in dark blue circle? Okay. Well, the reason becomes clear. Okay. Check what happens. Now I'm going to make those steps slightly smaller. So let's go edit again. There we go. And I'm going to go across and change that to step 5. This will make those circles closer together. Okay. And watch what happens. And what you're seeing is the fact that whilst the pixel resolution of the spectrum is actually quite good for the era, 256 dots across by 192, that's what counted as high res back then. The colour resolution of the spectrum isn't as good. All right, so you have somebody's already mentioned in the chat, this is called attribute clash. Okay, whereas the computer draws the circle in one colour, then changes to the next colour and tries to draw the next circle. But unfortunately, because the colour resolution of the spectrum is only, I think, about 32 characters across and 20 down, it starts to get messed up. And the spectrum basically can't colour each individual pixel. It's not able to do that. It can only colour an 8x8 block of pixels on the screen. That's the best it can do. So the resolution's relatively high, but the colour resolution isn't. And that attribute clash is a big deal for the games you're about to see. So you need to know that this is a technical limitation of the spectrum, okay, before you even start. So all the programmers had to deal with this problem, this attribute clash problem, really early on. So let's get going. So 1982, space games. Okay, this is way before Elite, anything like that. Space games. Space games were still a big thing. Okay, let's play the first one. Here we go. So this is a game called Time Gate, which is actually surprisingly good, actually. Now what's interesting about this is you can see the game is very arcadey. Okay, so it's still doing that sort of arcade thing. It has this sort of what arcade programmers used to call attract mode, i.e. the mode the game sits in while you're not playing it, trying to entice you to play. It's still got a high score table, so it's very similar to games of the stuff that you find in the arcade. But this game doesn't have any lives, so the concept of having 3 lives and all that sort of thing has now changed. This game is a little bit more sophisticated than that. This is probably one of the first sort of kind of 3D space games I ever remember playing on my ZX Spectrum. And this one's called Timegate. The idea here, now I actually have, believe it or not, check this out. I actually have this. There we go. This is the actual cassette. 4D. It's trying to, you may think modern gamers that hype is a new thing. Well, it's not. Okay, it's very old. This game here is a 4D. I don't know if you can see that 4D arcade adventure. It's not just an arcade game. It's an adventure game, and it's in 4D. What does that mean? I have no idea. Total nonsense. But as an 11-year-old kid as I was when I bought this, I mean, how exciting is that? It's just so like, I can't have that. It's a space game, and it's a 4K arcade adventure for the ZX Spectrum. How awesome! And lovely cassette art. So actually, again, very much in the sort of there's the entire thing that very much in the kind of spirit of things like No Man's Sky and stuff like that. Very sort of sci-fi, space adventure sort of stuff going on there. Now this one actually has an inlay. Check it out. Now, for some reason, I don't know why I've done this. I have no idea. Maybe one of you Spectrum geniuses could tell me. For some reason, on the inside cover, I've written clear 65367 load ditto code. And I've got that is definitely my handwriting from when I was a kid, and I don't know what that means or why it would be there. So if anybody can tell me, that would be interesting. But anyway, look, there we go. You've got instructions on how to load the game, because of course this is early days. Not everybody knew this yet. How to make this piece of software work. Probably some kind of hack or God mode. I don't know. Maybe we should try it. Unlimited. Well, it doesn't have any lives, this game. Maybe it has unlimited powers. So anyway, the loading thing says, you will find the procedure for loading a program in the Spectrum Basic Manual, Chapter 20. The procedure for loading Timegate is given below. So connect the ear socket, make sure the tape is wound to the beginning, top tip there. Set the volume control to a suitable level, whatever that might be. Set maximum treble. Who remembers treble controls on their on their cassette players? Set maximum treble, minimum bass. So basically exactly the opposite of what most kids did when they were listening to music back in the 80s, where you'd have minimum treble, maximum bass. Of course, for your computer, you preferred maximum treble, minimum bass. And then load ditto code. So I don't know what load ditto code means. Press enter, start the cassette recorder. The program will run itself once loaded and will provide instructions. Excellent. If the program does not load correctly, try a different volume level. Right, but then look on the inside of that, because it's a double folded piece of cover. Inside here, look, we have some background to the game. I'm not going to read all of it, but it's not actually too bad. So it says Timegate. Time stretches before and behind me in century-long strands measuring the age of the stars. The age of men, but irrelevant to me. I am lost down the years, stuck in a limbo where I am unique, a man without an age, an anachronism of the future thrown into the past. My ship is carrying me faster than light through the stars at a speed with no meaning. Stars swirl around me, and sometimes I feel I could reach out and touch them. Other times I feel alone and lost, their light twinkling with malicious laughter. Goes on like this. It's like, this game's got a plot. And it's like, I mean, I have to say, I didn't read this back in the day. I was just like, slap the cassette in there, let's shoot some aliens. But I've read it since, and it's not bad, actually. It's kind of like, this needs a novel. What's going on? So it's actually quite interesting. Look at this. My mission, to travel back along the trail of ravaged planets, following the enemy back through the millennia to where their aggression was given birth. and they first reached out to grasp and strangle the peoples of the universe. For the enemy must be stopped before the first blow was struck, before blood and tears flowed together under the hand of the enemy. It's actually quite good. So essentially with Timegate, let me put the cassette back very reverently. I don't know who wrote that. If anybody knows, then do let me know. It's not bad. So anyway, epic start. So the idea behind this game is that we are basically everybody about other than us. The whole of humanity has been wiped out at some point in the distant future. Okay, we are the only one left. And we have a spaceship, okay? Our mission is to destroy all the basically all the space baddies, and travel back in time, year by year, until we get to the home world of the alien bad dudes, and then we basically eradicate them from history so that they can never destroy us, in the future. That's basically the premise of this game. That's why it's called Timegate. So there we go. You should write. See if the original. I mean, it's by John Hollis in 1982. I've got no idea whether John Hollis is still about, but there we go. I mean, maybe he wrote it. Maybe he did. I mean, maybe it was a single effort. Who knows? It's quite possible. So anyway, the game is inviting me to select a skill level. I'm going to start on skill level 1 because I'm a wimp. Right, and there we go. I'm just going to turn the volume down because that's probably really annoying. Let's take it down to about there. Now the noise you can hear is being generated by the spectrum, so that's a sort of classic crawling through space sound. Now bear in mind that beep command is all you've got. That doesn't actually sound too bad. Wasn't he the lead singer of Talk Talk? Anyway, so we can move around. Okay, so I've got a star field. I've got I can turn left and I can turn right, and the star field sort of distorts in a weird sort of way, and it kind of gives you. I've got the ability to fire my guns, so I've got lasers. I know constant thrust. Yeah, it's not hyper realistic. And then I can go. This is warp factor 1. I think I can go up to warp factor 5. So there's like high speed. And this is more complicated than the beep command because the CPU is toggling a bit to generate the pulsations of the speaker. So yeah, so the CPU, obviously it's emulated here, but the CPU in the original Spectrum would have had to be doing that sound in real time whilst it's doing all the other work of doing the graphics as well. So that's that. Right, we have a sort of scanner in the bottom left. Now the way this works, I figured out, is that basically you can move it along with the L button, and then when you've got, and there's a single alien bad guy there, okay, in that sector, I can basically press jump, I think it is, and we sort of go into hyperspace. Let me get rid of the mouse, sorry about that. And now we're in the sector where the alien bad guy is. Now the instruments on the right have come to life. Okay, so what it's showing there is how far away the alien bad guy is and in what direction he's travelling. So what I have to do, the first sort of liney thing is his left and right position. And then the other one is his up and down position. So there he is, and I've got to shoot him. And rather than lives, as you can see, what's happening is that my ship will get damaged, and the alien guy changes colour when I shoot him. Now, damage report system target com focal loss is 0.8 functional. Okay, so I've got some damage. Basically, the 6 squares are basically my important systems on board the ship. So I've got the idea of damage. Okay, my spaceship can get damaged, which is a new thing. So no, not quite an elite 3D scanner, not indeed. So let's warp to this sector. See if we can get rid of these alien bad dudes here. Now I've got one, so let's adjust course. And you can see now what's quite nice about this is I've got the third indicator there is kind of the speed at which the enemy is either coming towards me or moving away from me, and the last one is the range indicator. So it's quite clever interface, even if it's a little bit tricky to use. You can only cope with one target at a time, which is basically the way this game works. So we'll be in range very shortly as that right hand counter. There we go. There. What did I do? Oh, I pressed the warp button. And now I've warped. I picked up some damage. I'm not quite sure what I did there. Let's get back. Right. So there's a nice little bit of tension that you know the enemy's going to come into view. And you can kind of dodge. There we are. Jump drive report. Jump drive neutron leak now unstable. So I'm picking up some damage to my ship. So I've still got another alien baddie to deal with in this sector. So let's do that. It's a 4D scanner. That's exactly what it is. But bear in mind this is more than 2 years before Elite. Okay, so this is an evolution coming off the back. Oh, I've got you there, haven't I? There we go. Boom. So it's kind of Space Invader-y, but it kind of in pseudo 3D. Those aren't vector graphics, okay? So it's not so easy. Now, okay, so now we've got a bit of damage. Now you do have to be a bit careful, because if one of those squares goes blue, basically that system is damaged. Now if that happens to be a warp drive, then you can't you can't move. So you've got to go and repair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump to a planet. Now in this game, the only way to fix your ship is to land on the planet. So seamless planetary landings back in 1982. However, it's bad news for the planet, because basically when you land on the planet, your ship gets fixed, but for some strange reason it destroys the planet. So I've only got so many planets, so it's kind of like a life. Okay, that's the way the game works. So let's get some more baddies. So basically what you've got to do is destroy all the bad guys, surprise surprise, while staying alive. There we go. Let's factor 5. There isn't any concept of energy here. The only thing you've got really is oh, there must be a warp button that I'm accidentally touching. That's just dropped me back. Sorry about that. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing there. Oh, there he is. I've done it again. It must be the O button or something. Or maybe it's a combination. Sometimes the Spectrum gets a little bit finicky when you press more than one key at the same time. We'll find out. Oh, now I've got... I don't know if the ship has got any shields, but... Gotcha. Alright, so there we go. We're making good progress. Jump drive, neutron leak. So, given this is 1982, and this is really early on in the history of the Spectrum, even in the history of the Spectrum, it's quite an ambitious game. It's got quite a lot of clever sophistication in it. You can see it's still sort of stuck on that arcadey type thing. And there's little kind of pop culture references to the spaceships that you see. There are X-wings and things. I've got you. Nice. Let's go to another planet, because we've got three bad guys coming up, and that's going to be potentially problematic. So yeah, the reference is not subtle. Okay, sort of vaguely subtle. Right, planetary landing. There we go. Different sound effects for the planet landing. Kind of. And let's jump over here. So it's it's got the idea of a warp jump, hyperspace jump, whatever you happen to have. It's got lasers, it's got damage control. You can't actually do anything about the damage other than kind of weather it and then go to a planet to fix it. That's sort of rather TIE Fighter-y, isn't it? And it's not quite right. Basically, you can, as long as you catch the enemy guy along the path of the laser beam somewhere, he will die. So it's not like you have to catch him in the crosshairs. TIE fighters and crosswings, totally legally distinct, exactly. So, well, I've got red damage to system report, engine's core rupture, condition red. That doesn't sound good. So let's hope we can weather that. But this was kind of the first really decent, I got him quite well, decent space game on the Spectrum. And you can kind of see the thinking moving from arcade. So this game doesn't have anything like the progression of Elite, because it's literally just this arcadey stuff. Let's to jump to a planet again. But it does have kind of levels still, so the idea of levels is still there. And the idea of a game that has slightly longer, a planet with round things on it. So it's not just 3 lives and you're dead. You know, this game is taking advantage of the fact that you've got a home computer, so you can play it for longer. And I can decide whether to engage or not engage with the enemies as I choose fit. So it's got a bit more sophistication than your average arcade game, because it's now on a home computer. So you know, I can play this game for much longer than I would be able to an arcade game. You know, it's got the idea of a scanner. It hasn't got much in the way of mechanics beyond that, but I like the damage report stuff, and I like the fact that you can fix your ship, and you can decide whether or not to fix your ship as and when you think it's appropriate. So you can take some risks. There we go, we've got one more guy to kill, and then we should be able to clear this level. Oh look, it's the crosswing. Got him. Right, okay, we got hit. Now if I jump now, what will happen is we'll go through the time gate, okay? And then we've done a thing. I think maybe I need to jump again from a cleared sector. Or maybe not. Maybe I need to just fix. Let's try. I can't see any more baddies. Maybe the game's busted. You're supposed to go through a time gate at this point. Let's just fix the ship, see if that helps it. Ship repairs complete, all systems operational. Okay, well that's good. Now hang on, we're supposed to go through a time gate now, but it's for some reason it's not doing it. Classic, we found a bug. Maybe that was a cheat gate. Maybe you need to find the time gate. I don't know. Maybe that's true. Maybe I just need to jump. Maybe that's it. Maybe you need to jump through all the sectors because maybe the time gate. I think that I remember reading something saying the time gate didn't show up on the scanners, so maybe you do. I don't remember the game well enough. Doesn't seem to be appearing, does it? Look, the fabled planet full of balls. Yes, the ball planet. Fortunately, it doesn't take too long to do the sort of hyperspace jumpy bit. Let's try and keep going. Now again, you can see clever use of the Spectrum's attribute system here, in the sense that the computer, the display is mapped to take account of the fact that the Spectrum has that attribute problem. Yeah, this is Spectrum. I don't know I played it the other day, and it did warp me almost straight away. So I'm not quite sure why it isn't. Let's try going to a planet. Is the time gate near a planet? I don't know. Does anybody remember what I'm supposed to do next? I feel like I've missed something. But I'm pretty sure you're just supposed to clear. Maybe I've got to get rid of all the planets. Seems a bit mean, doesn't it? You scourge the entire system. Oh, there we go. No, I found it. There's the time gate. Look at that. I mean, there's a special effect. Retarded FM. Come on, we never do that. Right now, okay. So now we are time shift effective, time shift complete. Now in the year 2000. Right, oddly enough, which of course back then it's way in the future. Where of course now it's way in the past. And yeah, you've guessed it. We've basically got to do the same thing over again. It just gets more tricky. Okay. So I've got more baddies to deal with and less planets, and it just gets harder and harder and harder. Okay, so that's basically, you've seen the gameplay already. But you can see, you know, for all of its primitiveness, this is 1982. This is long before the Spectrum itself was mastered as a platform. And let's just kill these aliens here, just because we really ought to. But it is kind of. Now, one little thing I did notice when playing this, I'll show you this in a minute. That when I'm at warp factor 1 and I fire the laser beams, I get a pew pew pew, basically. When I'm at warp factor 5, I get a very slow laser beam. So I don't know if that's deliberate, or whether or not that's just a function of the fact that the game is having to do different things. But it, your laser beam is like slowed down when you're at high speed, which is a nice little touch. The other thing that I did notice you can do, I'm going to show you this. This is just one of those little things that once you start, after you've kind of played the game, you start playing around with it. Is you can capture your laser beam in the jump. Ready? Watch this. And it sort of gets, and then after the jump, the laser beam continues, which I think is rather cute. Okay, there we go. I'm going to do it again. And then you basically, so you can follow your laser beam into space, into hyperspace. Stephen, I think it's a function of just having to move more stars. So that's quite possibly, isn't it? But it kind of works, though, doesn't it? Because as you move faster, actually that's not how relativity works, of course. But it kind of, in your head, it makes sense that you'd be catching up with your laser beam a bit more, so it would appear to move off more slowly. But that's not actually how light works. But never mind, and relativity and stuff. But there we go. When you go to light speed, you keep up with it. But I don't know. Anyway. Asking a 1982 ZX Spectrum game to be entirely physically accurate and respond to the relativity is possibly asking a bit much. Okay, anyway, so that's enough of that. That is, I think, the first kind of I don't new. How do I reset the computer? Come on, must be a reset. There it is. So I've literally just basically pulled the power cord on the Spectrum, and now we've got a load of game again. It's what was I saying? Get a goal. Yeah, exactly. No physical realism, but okay. So it's early 1982. Probably, I think that was one of the first proper kind of independent, non-derivative space games that came out on the Spectrum. Compare and contrast, if you will, then, with the next game on my list, okay, which is this one, okay, so 3D Starstrike. Now, this one looks exciting, doesn't it? Okay, so what's this game all about? Well, it's space. Okay, hang on, you've got to approach an enemy base. Okay, that sounds excellent. We're now entering an equatorial duct. Okay, that sounds vaguely familiar. Just shoot some reactor pods to destroy an alien base. Okay, and then escape sequence via hyperspace. Have you heard about this before? Anyone? Anywhere? Well, so 3D Starstrike. Okay, let's see what you make of this. Having seen a certain game last week or whatever it was, 2 weeks ago, with which was the coin-op conversion of Star Wars in the arcades. Compare and contrast with the humble ZX Spectrum 3D Starstrike. Select option. I'm going to go for easy, if that's all right with you guys. Now, what are the keys? I don't know. What are the keys? Oh, there we go. No, that's not the key. There we go. Oh, what's left and right? There we go. So, now I know it doesn't look quite as good as the arcade version, but it's actually very playable. And you may recognise a passing resemblance to a certain Star Warsy type game. But for the Spectrum, this is actually it's pretty fast. Okay, so now we need to attack their space station. Okay, and believe it or not, this implementation, although it's not obviously the official one, is way better than the actual Star Wars conversion that eventually did come out on the Spectrum a few years later. So this is the kind of unofficial one, and it's really good considering the limitations of the Spectrum, as you can see. There are some vector graphics here, as you can see. Some of it is sort of sprite based. It's also got an extra mechanic. You'll notice that the game has a much stronger shield, okay, on the left hand side there than the and you can see the wonderful attribute clash happening again. It's actually best on these levels just to to avoid the things. You can score some points, of course. It's very faithful to the original game, as you can see. And you can see the Spectrum thing. But the speed of the game, actually, for a Spectrum game, this is really good. But you've also got a laser overheat mechanic as well. Notice down on or laser power possibly. Notice as I'm firing, if I keep my finger pressed, then the lasers slowly drain away to a point where I can't fire. This is the only bit that's different here, is I've got to shoot these two things on either side of the hatch. And there we go, I got them both. And then we prepare for hyperspace. Dun dun dun! And it then explodes. Not quite so spectacularly. But not bad, not bad. And then we hyperspace, which I'm not sure the original game did. I can't remember now. And then we're back. So it's basically still an arcade bit. So you haven't got lives. You've got shields. There's not much in the way of AI going on for these ships. Actually, I just ran out of laser power. So, and you may think, some of you may be thinking, well, how the hell did they get away with making a complete rip-off of Star Wars? Well, this was really common in the 80s. Basically, they got away with it by not calling it the thing. And that back in the 80s, that was enough not to get sued, apparently. So we're going to make Star Wars the game, our own version. Call it something else. Job done, that's absolutely fine. So the game is creeping along a little bit now. You've got to dodge these towers. You've got to be a bit careful that you don't hit them, because that's very heavy on your shields. And you can see the frame rate has now dropped a bit. But considering it's, obviously the Spectrum doesn't have a mouse or any kind of sophisticated control. This is all keyboard. It's very playable. It works well. But yeah, in the 80s, you could get away with making effectively a complete clone, not only of the graphics, but the entirety of the gameplay, and just called it something else, and then you were fine. Which seems laughable today. And yeah, maybe they just weren't mainstream enough for people to even be bothered about, and it wasn't considered big business. But it certainly didn't take long for that to change. So this sort of behaviour was tolerated only for basically the really early years of the early 80s. By sort of 84, 85, things got a bit serious, and you had big name games companies starting to appear, companies like Ocean, Mastertronic, Ultimate Play of the Game, places like that, who would obviously defend their copyright much more effectively than these early ones here. But it's quite good. There we go. You've got to kill two things there rather than just one, which is slightly more sophisticated. So they did the absolute minimum they had to basically avoid getting sued. And once again, you've seen all the gameplay in a few minutes. It's basically a total rip-off of Star Wars. So there you go. But interesting aside into what you could do. But it's considering this is a very primitive computer, that was actually, I think it was actually rather good. And again, pre-Elite, all this sort of stuff. So a few people have said online that Elite was the first game with vector graphics. That's complete nonsense. It wasn't. Vector graphics were around a long time before Elite was. Elite, and Stephen Usher may be able to chime in on this one. I think Elite is certainly the first game I remember where hidden line removal was the thing, to make the vector graphics appear solid. I'm not aware of any other game that did that prior to Elite, but there may be one. But certainly vector graphics, no, they weren't unique to Elite at all. And Elite itself, on those original versions, plays some clever little tricks with the way the graphics are done, so that all the spaceships are convex. Okay, and they don't have complicated kind of outriggers. The only exception is kind of the crate with the two antennas. In order for the computer to be able to make simple maths deductions based on whether or not you can see the rear side or not. So all the ships in Elite have convex exteriors, I think I'm right in saying, such that the maths is easy. So you don't have any indentations in the ship design. You don't have any panels that are at right angles to the main ship that would obviously then appear transparent, that sort of stuff. So there are some clever little programming tricks in there to make sure Elite can do its hidden line removal, and that's why all Elite ships look like slabs of cheese. All right. Was Elite the first sandbox game? Well, it's certainly the first one I was aware of, but I couldn't say that definitively. Commander Sinclair. Sinclair Research was my commander name. And vector graphics were probably around before video games. Yes, I suppose they were actually, because you could work out vector graphics. And it wasn't until computers that you could actually use them for much. So yeah, so the math, it's all about maths and transformation matrices and stuff, which is quite interesting. So we go. Now, this next game is a game that I have never played. All right, I remember it. I remember my friends playing it, but I've never played it. So this is a new era, dare I say it? For me, is a space game on the Spectrum that I have never played. I've heard of it, and I remember seeing it, but I never owned this one. It's this kind of a legendary game in many ways, and I'm talking about the amazing Dark Star. So anyway, here we go. I'm quite looking forward to this one. Here we go. This is Dark Star, which again, looking at it through my 12-year-old eyes, that looks fantastically exciting. It's got a spaceship. It's got thrusters. It's got laser beams. It's got anti-gun things happening over here. Yeah, this looks awesome. So what's this all about? What's Dark Star all about? Let's find out. Right. So Dark Star. This is design. Yeah. So I don't know. Was it a thing in the 80s for some people to basically make their company have two names, a bit like Duran Duran? Design. Her name is Rio and she dances on the... Sorry. I actually do quite like Duran Duran. Yeah. Complete... Oh yeah, wait, with three. So anyways, this is design software, and then there's the Hall of Fame. Now apparently this Hall of Fame business is quite legendary on the game. I was looking up a little bit about Dark Star. I haven't played it yet, but I did look up a little bit about it. And apparently the menu system in the game is the stuff of legend. Okay, the menu system is almost the actual menu to the game is pretty much as a triumph of programming as the game is itself. It's full of all sorts of things, full of all sorts of options and things you can change about the game. But yeah, apparently if you type different codes into the Hall of Fame, then you unlock all sorts of weird stuff as well. So the whole game is full of cheat codes and all sorts of weird and wacky stuff. So it's apparently it's legendary for this. It's one of the first games that there were cheat codes everywhere, if you could then slowly dig them out. And design were really quite well known and nefarious for what they did with this game, apparently. So I don't know, I've never experienced it, but I've heard a few ZX Spectrum aficionados talk about Dark Star with, yes, well, the menu in Dark Star. So I'm hoping some of that will show up. Okay, anyway, so read the instructions. Let's break with tradition and read the instructions, shall we? Fly around the universe, okay. If it moves, shoot it. If it doesn't, shoot it anyway. If it's square, fly through it. Oh, and while you're at it, read the inlay. Okay, so kind of gives you a flavour of where this game is going. Okay, so these guys are obviously quite funny. And so what we can play the game, obviously, read the instructions, define the playing keys. Now this is a new initiative, okay, so this is one of the first games I've come across, early on at this point in time, where you can change the keys. I mean, what a great idea. If you don't like the keys the game comes with, change them to your liking. What a great idea. But there's also this option, look, change the game. Well, what does that mean? Okay, let's check it out. Look, we can... Yeah, we can customize the game entirely. I mean, this is This is unheard of. You can never do this before. Change the game format. What does that do? Normal game. Normal but no planetary shields. 3 unlimited numbers of enemy ships and 4 no planets. Okay, so I can actually. There's 4 different versions of the game in there. That's quite good. We can. What else can we do? We can change skill factors. We can. It can make it easy. Easy, fairly easy, normal, fairly difficult, and then with a slight Douglas Adams touch, for those of you who know, pretty damn devastating. Which I think, somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, is what the tank in the building, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy building, that basically the battle tank says to Marvin, because Marvin's been sent to stop this battle tank, and Marvin is completely unarmed, and he's basically having a little conversation with this battle tank, and the battle tank basically says, well, what are you armed with then? And Marvin basically says, the Frog Star tank. That's it, well done. And the Frog Star tank basically, Marvin basically says, you're not going to believe what I'm armed with to deal with that. And the tank goes, well, I assume it's something pretty damn devastating. That's where that's from, I'm sure. Which just shows these guys were obviously into their hitchhikers, which is a cool thing to see. Frank Mine's going to quote it now. I'm so angry, you're going to shoot the floor. So basically, Marvin takes on this battle tank, which has a variety of really, really devastating weapons. And he demonstrates these devastating weapons. And Marvin, of course, has nothing at all. He's been sent to stop the tank by Zaphod, I think, and has no weapons at all. And basically, he makes the battle tank so angry that it takes out the ceiling and it takes out the walls because it's so annoyed. And this last shot, it takes out the floor, and then the tank plummets to the floor and smashes itself to pieces. So of course Marvin wins, and then Marvin just sort of signs off with, "What a depressingly stupid machine." There we go. Wintermute quoted it. It's just brilliant. Anyway, that's where that's from. Sorry about the SI there. That's. And it's lovely to see. Back. Looking at this back now, is looking back at how the pop culture references of the time are still in the game, which is very cool. So I'm gonna. Switch it to easy. Actually, no, let's start off with normal. Yeah, because we've got to experience the game as it's supposed to be. Right, so return to the options menu. So I can change enemy missiles. Yeah, none. Fast and accurate. Fast but inaccurate. Slow and accurate. Pretty damn devastating. So the default is fast and accurate, which seems pretty mean. Change sound effects. No noise. You're firing. Explosion. So the amount of customization here is insane for this kind of computer game. Full sound, let's leave full sound on. Just change display format. So we've got normal, we've got pretty graphic mode, slimline tonic, and wide angle mode. I mean, we're going to have to try some of these just to see. Stephen Usher's got to go. Anyway, it'll be available on Twitch, not Twitch, on YouTube for you, Steve, later on. And Commander JL1988 has got to go as well. So, but yeah, catch it on YouTube later on. Stop giggling about the menu. I'll leave it on normal. I've got to play with that, find out what that actually does. Anyway, let's go back here. So I am going to change the keys because I do have a preferred key set up on the Spectrum. So left, right. So I'm going to change those to O, P. 3, I'm going to go Q. 4, I'm going to go A. 5, 6, and I'm going to go for M for fire. Right. Okay, play the game. Here we go. Right, we're in space. Okay, I've got an energy thing. Oh, let's get rid of the mouse. So nothing is really happening. Do I need to speed up a bit? There we go. I've got a timer. Oh, there's a there. Okay, so the game moves really quite fast. Let's just. Okay, so that's my guns. What do I do? It's definitely a space game. Oh, there's a planet. Okay, so maybe I go there. Oh, okay. Now stuff's happening. I've got a thing. It said fly through the square things, didn't it? So I'm going to fly through. Oh, I can shoot the towers. Okay, so this seems oddly derivative. Oh. I scored 10 points. Okay, that was my first go. That didn't go too well, did it? Okay, right. I didn't even get on the high score table because I was so rubbish. Let's try that again. Now I've got. Oh, it's just, look how that is a bit brutal. I mean, I had like 2 seconds to react there, and my energy was down by 60%. That seems a bit. I might go and play with the enemy detail a bit. Okay, so there's a planet is just a series of lines, which is okay. So how do I find angle up? Is there an enemy base or is there a map? How do I? Pressing some keys randomly now, hoping that I might find something. Is there a okay, I press 1, there's a map. Okay, so name LGC36Y. Atmospheres, nitrogen, oxidants, comments, hate it. Okay, so what's that showing me? Speed up a bit so I can figure it out. Slow down. Okay, so guessing I'm heading towards that. If anybody knows how to play this game, it would be okay. So I'm sort of making progress towards that dot. Is that something I need to? So this is interesting. Look, so it's got. Let's stop here a moment. The planetary data is, I don't know whether that's pre-keyed. Or whether that's procedurally generated. That's interesting because it's got outpost size, mass, and atmosphere. It's got a little bit of description associated with the planet, which is quite clever. Right, I'm on top of. No, it's just a ship. Some sort of. Oh, it's just brutally difficult, this game so far. Okay, so the angle is presumably the direction I'm pointing. Okay, so whatever it was that I went past. Okay, so I think what that needs is I need to fly left. It's kind of like a top-down radar, isn't it? There we are. Yeah, now I need to turn left. That's it. And go that way. That's what I think it's telling me. Let's go a bit slower. Alright, so I'm heading towards what I assume is the base. So I'm coming through the outer defences. I think that's what it's telling me. See if I haven't got any energy left, so this isn't going to work for very long. There it is. Oh, the Lyre has been destroyed. Interesting name for a spaceship, the Lyre. Okay, right, I'm gonna tweak the options down a bit to give me a chance to learn what the heck's going on here. Let's change the game format. Okay, that's the normal game. Okay, let's change the skill. I'm going to make it easy. Okay. I'm going to change the enemy missiles to slow and inaccurate because I'm old, alright? I haven't got the reactions I had when I was 12. I'm not going to go for pretty damn. We should try it on pretty damn devastating. Right, let's try that again and see if we can do a bit better. Okay, so there's a planet. Let's head for the planet, which is actually just a series of lines, which is quite a clever little technique for saving frame rates on such a computer, I imagine. Okay, so I'm actually, so this one, look what I've just spotted. Okay, so there's an outpost name there, size and mass, nitrous oxide, and comments, mostly harmless. I wonder where that could possibly be from. I think you should change the missiles to non-existent. You might have a better chance. Let's turn the ship around. God, it takes a long time to turn around. Well, I'm going to be able to turn around quickly enough. Now, I assume that thing in the middle is just a clock. I don't think that's a direction indicator. Am I turning? Do I need to go faster to make it turn? Oh, there we go. It is sort of turning. It takes a long time to turn around. No shame, games in this era are usually ridiculously hard. This one is legendary as being extremely hard, from what I've been told. So, and the map wraps like a real planet. So yeah, so it sort of does, doesn't it? So let's get the angle back to there. Now apparently you're supposed to fly through some rectangles on approach. So let's see if the game does that for me. Slow down a bit. Now we're coming up on the outskirts of the base. And then I'm going to have to turn left, I think. I like the fact that it says mostly hard, but I wonder if that's procedurally generated or whether that's hard-coded. But yeah, you can see that other people were reading Douglas Adams at this era of computer gaming. Right, okay, so they're slow, which is good. That definitely helps. Okay, so if you shoot the towers, they collapse. Okay, so let's turn left. Okay, so I kind of need to keep turning left. Come on. It's not a very manoeuvrable ship, it would seem. Although at least that one got me. Right, there we go. Oh, okay, so there's things to fly through. So I think in order to approach the base, I need to fly through these things. And if I shoot the enemy bad guys, they do explode. So that's quite nice. Okay, this is definitely more playable now. At least for me. I've got a chance of hitting things. So fly through the circles. Again, this gameplay is clearly very okay, I still haven't made it to the centre, I don't think. Oh, I'm at the centre, so is there something here, like a end of level baddie for me to deal with? Oh, that must be it. Okay, so this must be the central base. So it's like a collection of things. Did I get it? Or not? I don't know. Did I get it? I've now gone past it. So I guess I'm flying out. So either I missed it. So that we've got to turn around. Can I turn around? Don't do that, Drew. That was a bad move. Now I've got no energy left. Oh, I'm dead. Still, I got 120 points that time. Still liberated no planet. Okay, one more time. This is pretty brutal, isn't it? I have to say, it's quite brutal. Right, there we go. Onto the planet. Right, where are we? Right, we've got to turn left. There we go. I don't know what the pink thing is. Okay, slow down. No, I can't turn slightly too much there. It's an odd sort of UI, really. Okay, right, now turn back that way. Slow down a bit. Okay, I need to turn so I'm pointing down. And dodge the... Still got to turn left, I think. Try and dodge the fire that's being shot at me. It's still quite hard, even on like super easy level. Right, here we go. Right, okay. I'm having to concentrate really hard, unlike most of these games. I suppose because I don't know what's happening, because I've not played this game before. I suppose I've got the kind of both the okay, it's new and it's difficult. Now this section is obviously quite heavily ripped off Star Wars. I'm just kind of keen to see what happens outside of that. So I'm going to concentrate. So we did sort of have a base. I don't know, do I have to destroy all of the towers maybe? Because that's asking a lot. I've got a feeling I missed the tower last time. I think that's what happened. I think you may have to hit them multiple times. There it is. Okay, so this is the enemy base. Let's just blast it. Yes, base destroyed. Yay, I think I won. Planet liberated. Oh, I've liberated a planet. There we go. The stream is breaking up. It must be hammering the graphics card. Alright, so is that it? Do I go? What do I do now? Do I need to? Oh, I vaguely remember you've got to go into space. There we go. Okay, you have to go to high speed to get off the planet's surface, which is again quite cool. So out here, okay, so this is lightly defended. So this is kind of like a space version of the map. Okay, so if I head, oh, now I've got an alien dude thing. So I'm actually heading downwards. I need to kind of turn around. So space is 2D, which is a bit weird. Oh, there's a sort of time gatey, warpy thing there. Is my ship angle changing at all? Looks like I'm just going round in circles. So how do I get to any of those sectors? It's not entirely clear how you do that. Or maybe you have to warp to things using those gatey things. I don't know. Oh, what's this? Well, there's definitely an alien bad dude out there trying to find me. Do I need to fly around and then... Okay, space. It's a very fast game. I mean, it's really... Because the spaceships are basically just lines. The frame rate's really good for a Spectrum game, I have to say. There's a... Okay, that's a type... Is that a gate? Or what is it? I've got to try and fly through there. Come on. What does that do? Really hard to what this means. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Am I supposed to fly through though? It says fly through anything square, doesn't it? So what am I supposed to do? And you can't. If it's off the screen, that's it. You can't turn around and go back. So it's quite hard to. Does anybody who know Darkstar know what I'm supposed to be doing? I've liberated a planet, so I feel good about that. But see, the moment you see it, you can sort of dodge bullets, which is quite good. But I can't really navigate. The moment I see something, it's off the screen again. Maybe I should just fly straight and see if anything turns up. There we go. Okay, so what do I do here? Did I just fly through the... See, nothing happens if I fly through the middle of it. They said read the inlay. Yeah, I haven't got the inlay. Does anybody know how to play the game? Right, let's try. I think once it's off screen, it's out of bounds. Let's try. See, I tried flying through that. That doesn't seem to do anything. There's the blue ones. I don't know what the difference between the yellow ones and the blue ones are. It's a nice starfield animation. I'll give it that. That doesn't seem to do anything. It's or maybe it just recharges you. Does it recharge you perhaps? There's this map here which doesn't, which I would expect to be able to select something. But that's just telling me where I am. It doesn't respond to the keyboard in that mode. So, and there's that. That's just an alien. Okay, hang on. There's the blue thing. Right? Can we fly through this? Does it? It's just. That's moving away from me. You know, it's virtually impossible to do. I don't know. There seems to be only one planet, which I think I've now liberated, which means I can't do anything. So I don't know. I'll fly through the centre of that. That doesn't seem to help. There's another. So there's the occasional Asian ship that shows up, but how do I jump to another sector? That's the question. It must be this gate here, surely. But I can't get into it. It's so difficult. So playability, I'm going to have to mark this down. I think this is. I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe the inlay would tell us, but it's It's impossible to know what to do. It is like trying to scoop cargo. I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? I can't. It doesn't seem like I can fly through it. I need somebody who's played Dark Star to tell me what I need to do. I literally do not know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't. I'm stuck. Maybe we'll come back and revisit this another time. Let's try something else. Anyway, so that was Dark Star. So hasn't quite. Is it possible that flying through changes your position on the map? Well, I'm not. I'm still in the same place, and that circle seems to imply to me that I should be able to move around that and select it, but it doesn't respond to the keys. And the Spectrum doesn't have cursor keys. Literally the only thing I've got is be able to switch that map on and off. So I don't know. Build a beach house. So maybe we'll come back to this. Maybe I need to revisit this. I mean, I've got 220 there, so that's better than nothing. I'll just try one more time to try and fly through this, because I would imagine that you'd have to fly through this gate thing here. Oh, that charged me up. Okay, so that hang on, we learnt something there. The blue thing charged me up. Okay, so that's worth knowing. So there is a mechanic to get your energy back. Now that yellow thing therefore has to be the transfer portal to another level. Surely there's nothing else in here. So let's just try that again. Now we know. And I had to get my approach to that thing really, really spot on. Oh, so by the time you've seen it, I'm going to try that one more time. Let's just see. Come on, Dark Star, redeem yourself. Oh. Okay. Come on. Give me a yellow thing. I need the yellow thing. There it is. Right. I'm going to try and hit one of these. Yes. Cool. Okay, so this is how you transfer between levels. I'm guessing you have to fly. Whoa, this is another skill-based game. Fly through this hyperdrive-y thing, which is getting faster and faster all the time. That's quite a clever game mechanic, actually. You've got to navigate yourself sort of through hyperspace, and that's getting more and more tricky. Yike. There's a technique to it, as you can see. There we go, we've got to the end of the hyperspace jump. So where's that put us? We're now next door, which probably isn't all that useful. So how do I... tell you what, I know how it works. I've just figured it out. If I want to navigate up, I need to go through the top yellow square. Because I've moved one step to the left and I went through the left-hand hyperspace thingy, that's how it works. Okay, so if I want to go to the well-defended sector there, I need to go for the yellow top box. That's how it works. Okay, I think I figured it out. Let's see if I'm right. And if I have, I've figured out Dark Star, which is... There we go, right. Oh. By the time you've seen the wretched portal thing, it's too late. Come on, give me... And it's just sort of randomly spawns in front of you. Or not. Right, okay, here we go. Oh. You can't quite go slow enough. That's the other thing that's slightly annoying here. Right, let's try that again. Come on, spawn. RNG. There it is, right. Okay, here we go. Yes, I got it. Right, I've got to fly through this. So that appears to be how you navigate the galactic map. So a skill-based mechanic for travelling through hyperspace is a new touch, I think. That's quite good. Even the sound effects aren't bad for the Spectrum. And this is you're definitely having to concentrate. I like that. I like the fact you have to concentrate. Okay, so this should be, if I'm right, a highly populated sector. It is. Okay, so around here somewhere should be therefore a planet. There it is. Let's get to the planet. Oh, I missed. Let's get to there. Okay, so there's plenty of planets. I quite like how the planets are rendered and they're just lines. Right, so now we're on the planet. Okay, so I need to turn around. Quite clever, actually. There's a little bit more depth to the game than I first thought, which is quite nice. I've actually been playing for 12 minutes. I'm still alive. Right, so let's turn around here. The turning speed is awful. Oh, there we go. Look. Okay, so comets mostly harmless still. Atmosphere a bit nasty. It's full of all sorts of silliness, this game, which I like. I like that. Okay, are we look how slow we're turning around. I'm going to come in sort of diagonally, I think. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Let's find out. Come on, turn. Right, where are we? Nope, that's not ideal, but okay. Anyway, so this one says it's well defended. Let's see how that compares and contrasts with. Okay, so keep travelling in this direction for the moment. Can I liberate another planet? Is basically what we're doing here. Stalk again. I don't know if that actually pauses the game. It does actually kind of pauses the game. I don't know if you can be killed in this mode, but it kind of pauses the game so you can have a look in the midst of the action. It does actually. It pauses the game, which is a bit, which isn't, I suppose, is a I'm guessing a sop to playability really. I don't know if I've got to fly through all those things. I got hit by those. Whether I've got to fly through these circles or whether they're just circles through these squares or whether they're just a guide. But in terms of fast-paced action, I don't think I've seen anything better than this on the Spectrum. This is, you know, because the graphics are so limited, you know, literally just lines for everything, then the performance is really good. For a, you know, like I say, for a Spectrum game, you know, this is Premier League level FPS for the Spectrum. Really, really good. It's like a proper arcade game in that sense. It's oh, I'm running out of health. Come on, we can do this. Let's get another planet liberated. So yeah, you really feel like you're under quite a lot of pressure playing this. Come on, almost to the centre, surely. And good use of colour. And I like the fact there's ground gameplay and space gameplay. I mean, who'd have thought it, right? Right, must be somewhere. Oh, we've gone past it. It means I've got to turn around. Okay, let's try turning all the way around. It really doesn't turn well, this ship. At all. Okay, it's kind of does one movement. Slow down. Right, where are we? Ah, I died. I liberated one planet. There's one planet in the universe that's happy. I got 390 points. I think that's probably okay. I don't know what killed me there. Look at that. True Wega. Space adventurer. Ta-da! That was hard work. Wowzers. That's difficult, isn't it? Yes, that's another thing. Look, you're quite right. You can save the current high scores and prove to your mates that you've got a particular score. That's quite a nice thing. The other thing that you can do, that you can print your high scores as well. And the funny thing is, I'm told this has Sarky messages. Let's just see what it says. Look, sunshine. Seeing as how you ain't got no scratcher attached, I don't see as how I can scratch anything just as well since I can't stand that thing. And for those of you who don't know what the sound of an 8-bit or a 9-pin, sorry, should I say a 9-pin or 25-pin printer is, basically, they were pretty darn noisy and made a big of a racket, and they did sound like scratchy. Look, sunshine. Very cool. Anyway, so that was just Dark Star. Right, onwards we go. How are we doing? We've got another half an hour. I've got 2 games to be in. Will I have time? This next one is called Starion. This next one is called, that was Dark Star we just with. This one's called Starion. I've got no idea why it's called Starion. So anyway, so this one is Computer Report Starion, logging on. David Webb, this is 1985, so this is kind of Elite era now, okay? This is now competing with Elite. One pilot, we've got tuition. What does that tell us? Okay, so vector graphics. Welcome to... Could have made the font size slightly smaller, I feel. Starion. Advert mode. Devised and written by David Webb, presumably. We already know this. It's slightly after Elite, is it? Okay. Oh, and published. It's advertised. I have to think about the game. Published by Melbourne House. Dun dun dun. This is. This reminds me of the Spaceballs. We break for nobody. What are we supposed to do? I don't really know Starion. I've heard of Starion. Here is a look at some of the enemies. I don't need to look at some of the enemies. I need how to play the game. This is supposed to be instructions that await you. Okay, so there's some bad guys to shoot. Okay, so these are the Starion enemies. Now compare and contrast with the Elite spaceships. Actually, this is quite interesting because I don't know about you, but my eyes fold these spaceships inside out because there isn't any hidden line removal. You can't necessarily tell which side of the spaceship's heading towards you. And so you can see the problem with hidden line removal. These spaceship designs are quite different to the Elite ones because they have kind of angled parts, which means that they are transparent rather than hidden line removals. So, and the maths to parse them is not so good. But actually, compared with the ZX Spectrum version of Elite, the frame rate here is way better. So whoever did the 3D programming here did a better job than the Elite on the Spectrum, at least. This is a really nice, snappy frame rate for the Spectrum compared to Elite on the Spectrum, which is about 2 to 3 frames per second. This has got to be close to 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe even 10 frames per second. This is proper top flight stuff for the era, and some interesting ship designs. But that doesn't tell me what I'm supposed to do. So I guess I'm one pilot. Let's try and figure this out. Okay, so commence mission. Computer report time warp. Please select time grid. Problem solved and solved. Okay, problem and solved. So red is showing me that none of the things have been solved. So let's go for, my favourite number is 2. We'll go for 2. Okay, what's that saying? AD. Oh, we can choose 1965 time. I don't know what I'm doing. Does anybody know? Let's go for 2 again. Oh, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, I think. 2, 1. Right, okay, we've launched. What are the keys? Does anybody know what the key? This is always the first. Okay, that's N is lasers. Now I've stopped moving. Okay, so that's speed. All right, speed up and down is Q and E. Lasers is B. How do I maneuver my ship? That's left. That's right. That's down. No, that's climb. Where's up? Ow. No, that's a status report. How do I dive? Come on, computer, tell me. It's got to be. It's got to be one of these buttons. Oh, there it is. Right. Okay, so that's up, left, right. Okay, so I've got a sort of multiple. Let's slow down a bit. Can I slow down? How do I slow down? I'm running at full speed, which I don't want to. Hull temp, velocity. There we go. That's down. Oh, Q and E, wasn't it? Right. Let's change the velocity to about there. Right. Okay. Let's see if we can shoot this space dude. So it's kind of okay. So space combat. I don't know if I've hit him at all. Oh, too close. Oh, it's fast. I can't press the finger and keep the button. There we go, got him. I can't press the finger, the laser button, and hold it down. It doesn't keep firing. It only fires once. Okay, so there's a. What am I supposed to do? What's that? Don't know what that is. Oh, that's something up. Oh, I got to pick. That's a letter. I missed it. I wonder if I'm supposed to pick that up. I keep trying to play Elite. Oh, it says pick up letter on the screen. So that's... Okay, so that's X and Y, and that's Y and Z. Confusing. Okay, so how does this... I'm just trying to work out this user interface and how it works. Oh, that's the ship. There's the thing. Okay, so I need to put it in front of me and... Slow down a bit, slow down a bit. Why am I going so fast? Oh, not sure if I like the control. Pick up letter. So presumably fly towards it and just scoop it. I. Battle with enemy. Right, I can do that. Oh, you really miss the Elite scanner, I have to say. And it's okay. So there's one enemy out there. Oh, how do I use this? X and Y. There it is, right. So I kind of need to get it ahead of me and to the right, depending on which scanner I'm using. It's like, why does it keep going so fast? There it is. I'm just going to eyeball it around a bit. And it keeps speeding up. Oh, that's because I'm using the wrong key, that's why. Oh. Tricky controls, I think, Starion. It right. So does that mean I'll get a letter? Okay. A letter E. Right. So a bit kind of weird. This is a sort of space Scrabble. I don't know quite what I'm doing here. You shoot alien ships and they drop a letter at you, which is weird. Okay. So battle with enemy. Yeah. Okay. So presumably every spaceship I kill is gonna, for some strange reason, drop me a letter of the alphabet, which is all very odd. I've lost a life there, I think. I've got 5 ships remaining. So, pick up letter. There's the letter. Let's get that. Fly towards the letter. Okay, N. I've got a feeling we're going to have some sort of clue we're going to need to work out as a result of dealing with. It's very. I mean, in terms of space combat, it's quite good because it's fast. But okay, there's a letter forming. I like the way it forms. That's quite clever. I'm not quite sure why the alien ships would be dropping letters for me to assemble, but anyway, let's go with it. How many have I got to get? I've got to get another 6 or 7 there. Okay, L, presumably. Battle with enemy, yeah. Okay, so 1 enemy at a time. There we go, get better now. What skills my skills go? I don't remember playing. I think I must have remembered seeing this one back in the day, but I think I was obviously into Elite by this point and obviously didn't really try it. Okay, so that's an O. Yeah. And it's, you know, the ship doesn't have any shields, the enemy ship. It's just, you hit it once and that's it. So it's much more arcadey than anything in Elite. I don't know if there's anything else up. Yeah, let's find out what happens when we get all these letters together. Sorry, I'm having to really concentrate. I can't look at the chat at the moment because it's a bit intense. Yeah, the reticle is it's very FFE actually. That's a very good point. And the laser beam doesn't actually go to the reticle. Have you noticed that? Oh, it's so annoying that it doesn't have auto fire. You have to press it every time you want to fire. Which is... I quite like the yaw and pitch indicators. That's quite nice. Gotcha. Right, how many we've got? Right, okay, 4 more letters to get. Okay, here comes the letter. That's quite nice. Nice little programming trick there. Well, I'm already fired at. That's a bit mean, isn't it? Okay, there's the G. Right, okay, another enemy to get. So if Elite had been this fast, it would have been excellent. Elite was much slower on the spectrum than this kind of gameplay. So I'll give it that. For a kind of arcadey experience, this is really quite good. It's much more visceral combat. I mean, it's a bit limited. Only one alien at a time, and it's kind of just flies around and dodges. Oh, got it. There we go. Here comes the letter. So I'm assuming that's going to spell a word. So those of you who are good at anagrams, start thinking. W. And we've got one more letter to get. Okay, so what's it going to be? Why are we... Okay, I've got it. Right, there's the last ship. Is this the latest Odyssey update? Now, my friends, we've got to play nice. We've got to play nice. Okay, there's the L. Another L. Oh, I missed it. Right, oh. Computer report, cargo identification. You are carrying a complete enemy cargo. Please tell us what you think it is. So it's an anagram. What's the anagram? Yeah. I'm not very good at this sort of thing. Wellington. Oh, well done, whoever that was. Wintermute, well done. Wellington. You're quite right. Awesome. Right, what do we do then? Go for time warp. Oh, that's always a good thing. Where's the time warp? I forgot the keys. Is that the time warp? That looks like a... Yeah, that must be the... Oh, it's like a Coriolis space station. Except I missed it. Probably not a good idea to shoot the time warp if that's what that is. Right, okay, time warp report. So what do we have to do? Try up shooting and thinking to inspect that. Okay, so what do we do with that? When was Wellington? So this is a game. This is a game that is helping you with your homework, isn't it? Does anyone know Wellington Battle of Trafalgar? When was that? When was Battle of Trafalgar? It's got to be one of these dates, surely. There's Commander coming in. Why are we doing this? 1895's Battle of Waterloo. Right. There we go. So 1. Let's try doing that. 1. Okay, so we're going there. Do we have to use this cargo to do something? Fly to planet now. Okay. So is that the planet? Well, I suppose, what was that? That looked like a small square. Let's slow down, computer. Oh, it is sort of. It's got like a moon. Oh, there we go. Computer report, planet Earth. Problem, Duke gets his feet muddy at Waterloo. Cargo Wellington. Analysis, cargo compatible. You have corrected history in this time zone. Hey, well done, guys. Okay, so you have to shoot alien ships to pinch their store of letters. rearrange those letters into an answer to a question that you don't know what it is, go to a place, unlock the thing and fix the timeline. What a strange game. Presumably we've done a thing. Now it just says battle with enemy again, so and I've forgotten the keys. Right, am I going to pick up? Okay, let's do one more. So, tell you what, I've got 2 more games to go, but because we've taken a bit longer than I expected, oh no, I've got to pick that up. Then we'll do those 2 in a bit. So I do have Codename Matt, which I did want to get to today, but to be honest, I know Codename Matt, or at least I did, and I know it's quite an involved game. So it's a bit more sophisticated than anything else we've played so far. So I do want to give that one proper justice. So I'm gonna save Codename Matt, I think, for the following week. And I've also got, after seeing the legend that was 3D Starstrike, there is also a 3D Starstrike 2, which is quite a lot different. So we'll play that as well. So apologies for those of you who were expecting to see Codename Matt. We will get to it, but I haven't got enough time to do it justice here, and I don't really want to rush it because it is a good game. So let's keep going with the Starion until we run out of time. Because actually, I'm assuming that's most of the gameplay we've kind of experienced. But let's okay. So we've got LC. See if we can guess this one. Can't be all that difficult. It's only a 4-letter word, this one. So LCO. Cold, maybe. We'll find out when we get the next alien ship. Oh, I so need the elite scanner, I tell you. That ZY scanner is horrible. It's like I have no idea what I'm looking at. I can't. By the time I've reacted, it's moved anyway. Oh, that's a letter. Oh no, it's an A. LCOA. Coal, presumably. Okay, go for the time warp. Let's tell you what, guys. Shall we do the time warp again? See, that was a MIDI composition there that I should have put in. It's just a jump to the left. Okay, here we go. Let's do the time warp again. Okay, so but coal. I mean, what date? Okay, what date is coal? What's that mean? It's the answer to a question. We haven't got the. That's a bit mean, giving us the answer before Industrial Revolution 1764. That is a good guess. Okay, let's try that. So this is basically testing. I can see the thinking here. Whoever wrote this game was basically right. I'm going to teach those kids some history, whether they like it or not. And they're going to be thinking they're playing a space game, but what's actually happening is they're revising for O-level history. Let's go for Industrial Revolution 1764. Okay, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, isn't it? Right, let's. Ah, sneaky Gibro. Right, fly to planet now. There's the planet. Okay, which is actually a planet and a moon thing, isn't it? Kind of spinning around each other. That's kind of weird. Right. Oh, I've done it. What's fuel for James's steam engine? Well done, guys. You're doing really, really good. Cargo is coal. Analysis. His cargo compatible. You have corrected history in this time zone. Nice. Okay, so this is obviously the game, as we have to revise history. Literally. So I don't remember this being marketed as an educational game. But there we go. It kind of is, isn't it? Quite funny. There we go, we've got an A on board. And presumably we get tougher and tougher opponents as we go on. Oh, another A. collect another letter. 2 A's. I'm glad I got you guys to help me here because I'm rubbish at anagrams. There's a hull temp indicator there, which is interesting. It seems to go up and down depending on my speed, which of course doesn't really make a lot of sense in space. But it also presumably is something to do with how hard my ship is getting hit by. Oh, I've been quite badly damaged there. Okay, so there is a skill there. I've lost some lives in the last whatever. Let's see if I can get another letter for us to demonstrate our anagram prowess. It's an O. Oh yeah, so when I get hit, my hull temperature rises, and when it goes to red, that's it. I lose a ship. Okay, so that's, I've got to be careful of that then. Oh, and it's the T. I think I've got to pick up the letter before. There it is. So I need to be careful. So I think if I reduce my speed, then I'm less at risk of overheating my ship. I've got a feeling I'm going to be in trouble soon because there's an A. I need to speed up in order to pick up the cargo. Okay, there we go. It's sort of boom, gotcha. There's the. Okay, right, here we go. What's the anagram this time? It is, you are carrying a complete enemy cargo. Tell you what you think it is. Okay, what do you reckon it is? It's the Krakatoa winter mute. Oh, well done, he's already there. Crack, how do you spell that? Krakatoa. Very good. You had to be pretty, I mean, I would have had no chance at this game when I was like 13. I didn't know anything. Easy, says Bitstorm. Okay, so Krakatoa. So presumably now I've got to go. Let's do the time warp again. Sorry, that's really bad. Boom. Right. Okay. So somebody clearly needs the internet now. When did Krakatoa explode? The sound that was heard around the world. That's, I don't know, when was that? That was quite a while back, wasn't it? But it's in, I don't know. Okay, somebody quick. Somebody Google it for me. Somebody cheat on their history homework. Oh dear. 1833, which is the top right. There we go. So let's go to 3. So of course, what you'd have to do if you were playing this game in 1985 is slow down. What's the? Where's the ship? Oh, there. No, that way. There we go. Right, fly the planet now. Come on, we've got to get this one. No, wrong button. There's the planet. Go. Because I'm almost dead. There we go. Big Bang breaks Indonesian toe. Cargo compatible. You have corrected history in this time zone. We're doing really well, but we got one ship repaired. We're going to die at some point soon, aren't we? Battle with enemy. Okay, so I think we've kind of seen the gameplay of this game, and it's clever. I'm not sure if I appreciate the history lesson, but I can see it's quite good. Oh, interesting ship design there. Sort of Liberator style thing there, wasn't it? Okay, let's see if I can survive long enough to get one more anagram. Boom, there we go. It's forming a long way away from me. There we go. And slow down. There's the enemy ship. Oh, it was the enemy ship. Oh, it kind of. So there's only a sort of relatively small little bubble of the universe in which ships can exist. I noticed there when I went off the edge. God, that's fast, isn't it? it reappears at the other side, which is, I suppose, makes sense. But it's not like there's a vast amount of space for everything to exist in. It's just a limited sort of little sphere of combat, isn't it? So I can see the similarities to Elite, but it's interesting, isn't it? The genius of Elite, of course, was that extended gameplay and being able to save your position and all that sort of stuff. None of these games have demonstrated that at all. So that shows you the bit that was different there is that in some ways the gameplay is quite similar. Shoot, capture things, pick things up, but the genius there, you can see the difference in thinking that went into Elite compared to these games. In many ways, these games in some ways are better. They're more fun to play. The arcade combat is actually better, but it's that playability, the longer term draw of upgrading your things and starting out with a weak spaceship and then getting a better one, all that sort of stuff that became Elite. Whereas you don't have any of that in these games. You just have a ship and that's basically it. Fly around, shoot stuff. Let's see, skills again. Let's get this guy. Okay, one more. There we are. Somebody work on the anagram. Got my back up. See, whoever designed this game didn't. Right. Okay. There we go. Do you not have any 3D glasses? Right. Well, the experiment is quite. Yeah. So there's lots of experiment. Yeah. What works? What doesn't work? That's what's interesting. What's that then? It's. I told you I'm rubbish at these things. Carapace? No. What's this anagram? Come on, guys. Come on. Use the combined power of the internet. What's the anagram? Ref. I don't know. What's this one? Come on, I need the chat to help me out with this. Carpi is really. Yeah, but I've got to have an F. Preface. Oh, you guys are good. Okay, well, but what's that for? What's that going to be the answer to? Preface. Face P. Oh, stop it. Whoa! It shot me. Right, there's the time warp. Come on, get to the time warp. Let's do the time warp again. Enemy ship really wants to get me. There we go, through the time warp. Right, okay, so preface, what does that mean? And what question could it be answering? I'm totally guessing now. Any ideas? This is the last chance saloon, by the way. We're almost dead on this game, so oh, we've got. Okay. Any idea? I don't know. Preface. I mean, what's that mean? Preface. Preface what? Is that introduction of typesetting or something like that? Printing press, maybe. Try 1776. Okay, we'll go there. Right, so I've got to fly to the planet. Let's do that. There's the planet up ahead. Boom. Okay, so endorsement of the Declaration of Independence, preface, analysis, incompatible cargo or cargo arrangement. Options: 1, alter cargo and try again. 2, battle for next time warp. Printing press is 1440, which I don't think was there. 1086 says Wintermute. Okay, so I'm going to have to battle for the time warp so we can do the time warp again. Sorry, that's very childish. But you know me. Right, how many ships do I have to destroy to get to the time warp, I wonder? At least 2. Okay, so that's quite good. So you've got multiple routes through. If you make a mistake, which obviously it's quite likely that you would do, you have to battle through various stages of the game in order to get there. Gotcha. Oh, now onto my last life. I've still got to take another ship. Ooh. Oh, I think that's it. I think I'm dead. I think that's a coffin. There we go. Well, that wasn't quite what I was expecting from that game. Actually, that was a bit different. Interesting, sort of revised history whilst playing, whilst slaying computer enemies through space. It's just an interesting combination. I don't think that's ever been tried again. I don't recall many spaceship games requiring a knowledge of history to complete, but interesting idea. It was a bit sinister, wasn't it? Here's your coffin, guys. How old are you? I'm only 12. What's that showing on the screen? Nobody ever expects. Yeah. So anyway, there we go. That was Starion for you. So we still have to come. So there's going to be a slightly extended bit of Spectrum gameplay. We still have 3D Starstrike 2 and Codename Matt still to come. And we didn't have Google when, in order to find this out, you'd have to dig out your encyclopedia, wouldn't you? Do you remember the Encyclopedia Britannica and things like that? Massive, great big 26-volume sets of encyclopedias to look things up. I mean, in order to win this game in the 80s, you'd have to have like a stack load of history books alongside your Spectrum. And then I suppose you could ask your parents, Dad. Who's Wellington and why was he famous? Your dad would go, what? That would be a parent's nightmare, wouldn't it? When was the steam engine invented? When was the Declaration of Independence? Dear. But not bad. Good 3D battles. Anyway, so that's enough of that. My friends, it is time for us to depart once more. So I hope you've enjoyed that tour of home computer space games on the ZX Spectrum. Dad, quick! It's really urgent. I've got to save the universe. How can I help, son? When was the printing press invented? What? Dear. So quite an interesting game, Starion. But there we go. Or I suppose you could just try all the combinations. Just generally, yeah. I suppose you could figure out, but you'd have to stay alive longer, so that required you to have more, sort of space combat skill, I suppose. I've just noticed on the dashboard, actually, with dashboard, but there's little screws. Have you seen that? Look here, this bit. These scanners are held in by flathead screwdriver bolts. It's just a nice little touch. I didn't know. Look, apparently we had hydrox and oxygen levels in there. I didn't even notice those. Hull temp and velocity. So yeah, a bit of stuff going on. Phillips screws, yeah, nice. So it's obviously a relatively low-tech spaceship, which is quite funny. Anyway, right. So we shall be back upon another time, I think, for part 2 of ZX Spectrum space games. So I've got Codename Matt, and there is a sequel, Codename Matt 2, which I didn't realise. So we've got that to go and find as well. So we'll try Codename Matt, which is a really good one, actually. And 3D Starstrike 2, which is good as well. So if there's any other ZX Spectrum space games, obviously not including Elite, because we've done that to death, that you want me to feature, then let me know and I'll see if I can dig them out. So space games for the Spectrum, and chuck them into the chat or chuck them into my Twitter or Facebook, whatever, however you find me. We'll continue playing some of these home classic greats, because other than Dark Star and Starion, I've played the other ones, but these two were quite a surprise. So there we go. But anyway, have a fantastic rest of the weekend, my friends. Be good. See you soon. Back on Monday with my normal chat. Back on Thursday with more No Man's Sky. And then we'll be back with more ZX Spectrum space retro adventuring. Because anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed doing the Time Warp again. And I will see you soon. Be good. Take care, my friends. And carry on, Retro Commanders. See you soon.